I don't know if I've ever heard of somebody turning down a record deal, but you did. Tell us about that.
I did. So as I mentioned earlier, I got this guitar when I was 16, and my big dream was to sign to a major record label, to become famous, to be like John Mayer, to do, all the stuff that everyone wants to do. And that was happening. So a week or two after coming to faith, I was offered a major label record deal. And this was massive. And I just remember at the time not knowing, just praying about it. I mean, I literally, I could count in one hand the amount of books I'd read in my life before I became a Christian. I was reading the Bible every day, couldn't stop reading. I was praying. This is 11 years ago. And I remember saying, God, what do you want me to do? I want my life to be about the gospel, and I'm not sure, do you want this for me? And so I remember I flew back to Scotland from JFK Airport, went from LA to JFK, and I was Googling Christian churches Scotland from JFK Airport, because I'd never met a Christian in Scotland, so I didn't know if there were any. I mean, I'm not joking you. And so I arrived back in Scotland. I find this church in Glasgow, and I show up at the doors of this church, and this lady opens the door. And so I said to her, Jesus has saved me. And she just looked at me and said, well, that's wonderful. You come on in, you've come to the right place. And so I met the pastor and met folks in the church. And it turns out that lady that I met is a woman called Lorna Farrell. Now, Lorna manages me right now. She's my best friend. I actually co-wrote the song Prize Worth Fighting For with her. She's the first Christian I ever met. I mean, that's just an aside as we kind of progress the story here. But she said to me at the time, I'm doing this Bible study, and I'd love for you to come and let's just, God always speaks through the Bible. He always speaks through his word. So let's, I shared the dilemma about the record deal. I don't know what to do. She said, look, we'll pray and we'll open the Bible, and God will guide you through his word. And I said, okay. And so we were in the book of Leviticus. You mentioned that earlier, and she said, well, God's going to speak to you through Leviticus. And this was the verse, I kid you not. Thou shalt not sacrifice your firstborn child to the gods of Molech. And so, I just looked at her the way you're looking at me now, and I was kind of gobsmacked, and I just said, look, I'm looking for some practical advice here. I mean, this is kind of intense child sacrifice. And right. You seem like a nice person, but you're probably a little bit crazy, And so, but she wouldn't back down, bold woman. She said, God always speaks through his word. I said, okay, no problem. So I flew back out to Los Angeles. I'm sitting in this meeting, major record deal, on the table. I've got a lawyer next to me, and God just closes my mouth. I couldn't speak. It was like my mouth was just closed in the meeting. And this lawyer's nudging me saying, would you hurry up and sign the deal? Say something, And eventually this executive becomes so exasperated. He said, look, I don't know what's going on here. There's people that would cut off their right arm for this opportunity. We've seen this before. If you come back in a few months, the deal's gone. You need to tell us now what you're doing. And I just looked at him, and he said, there's people that would sacrifice their firstborn child for this opportunity that you're being offered right now. And my jaw hit the floor, and I said, how does he know those words from Leviticus, from the Bible study? And, wow. And I just thought to myself, Dean, well, I guess God does speak through his word.